Welcome, everyone. I'm Sara, and this is yoga. So we're going to start, as we often do, lying on our backs. So make your way to your mats and come into any comfortable position you choose on your back. So you can have bent knees or straight legs, whatever feels better for you. If those knees are bent, they can be pointed up toward the ceiling. You can walk your feet out towards the edge of the mat so the knees rest against each other. Or you can bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees open out to the sides. I'm going to choose this position today. We're going to work on shoulders and hips today. So I'm going to start out in this position just to kind of give my hips a little head start before we start actually moving through our active asana practice. So whatever's most comfortable for you. So if this is not comfortable at all, just bring those knees up or walk your feet out towards the edges of the mat and bring the knees together, or straighten your legs. And we'll just spend a few moments here to start to settle in for our practice. Bring our attention inward towards the body and the breath, away from any outside distractions. So letting go of your week, your day, whatever happened to you earlier. And also letting go of things you might have on your to-do list for later on or tomorrow or for the weekend. So for this hour, we're just going to focus on the body and the breath, and everything else can wait. Taking some nice full deep inhales and exhales. And then we'll bring our knees together. They're out. Walking the feet out towards the edges of the mat so they rest in against each other. Moving the arms away from the body a bit, and we'll start our windshield wipers. So just taking those knees from side to side, moving back and forth at your own pace. We'll take a few more to each side. Bringing the knees to center when we're done, walking the feet in towards each other a little bit so they're about hip width apart. Maybe bringing them in a little closer to the bottom if you like. And then we'll extend arms out into a T position, dropping both knees to the right for a lying spinal twist, keeping both shoulders on the mat, maybe turning the head to look down your left arm. And releasing, bringing the knees and the head up to center, dropping the knees over to the left, maybe turning the head to look down your right arm. And we'll start to move this with the breath, inhaling the knees up to center, exhaling them to the right, inhaling them to center, and then exhaling them to the left. And we'll just continue to move with the breath, inhaling knees through center, exhaling, alternating from side to side. You can leave your feet on the mat or pick them up. Bringing the knees in closer to you. You can keep your head still or turn the head to look in the opposite direction of the knees as you twist. Trying to keep our shoulders on the mat the whole time. Let's do one more to each side. Bringing the knees to center when we're done, hugging them in, giving them a nice little squeeze here. And then let's open up the knees so they're just outside the width of our torso, reaching the arms between the legs, grabbing a hold of your big toes or the feet or the ankles, and then we'll reach those feet up toward the ceiling for a happy baby with our knees still bent, pressing the tailbone down towards the mat, maybe gently rocking this pose from side to side. And we'll return to center when we're done. Hugging the knees into the chest again, releasing the feet down to the mat. Feet are hip width apart and parallel, bringing the hands down next to our hips, walking the feet in closer to the bottom so that we can sort of touch our heels with our fingertips. On your next inhale, lifting the hips up toward the ceiling into a bridge. Exhaling, releasing it down. Moving with your breath, inhaling, lifting. Exhaling, releasing. Let's take a couple more. One more like this, and then we'll add an arm movement to this. So on your next inhale, as you lift the hips, also reach the arms up overhead, and then exhale, release everything back down. And we'll just do those a few more times. Inhale, lift and reach. Exhale, release. And if this bothers your shoulders, then keep your hands down and just do bridges like we did before. Taking one more here. And when we're done, we'll hug the knees into the chest. Taking some rocks from side to side. Placing the hands on the kneecaps, circling them around first in one direction. And then in the opposite direction. Returning to center, either rolling to your side, making your way up to a seat that way, or grabbing a hold behind the knees. And using your legs to rock up into any comfortable seat you choose. So you might want to sit cross-legged. If that's not comfortable, go ahead and extend your legs out in front of you. You could also sit on a block or a blanket if you have one. Rolling the shoulders up, back, and down. And then we'll drop the chin down towards the chest. Bring the head back up to neutral. Dropping the right ear over towards the right shoulder, keeping both shoulders down. And then we'll turn the head to drop the chin down towards that right shoulder. Turning the head to look forward again. Bringing the head back up to neutral. And then we'll drop the left ear towards the left shoulder. Turning the head, dropping the chin down towards your left shoulder. Turning the head to look forward again. And then bringing the head back up to neutral. Bringing the hands behind the head, looking all the way up. And release. Oh, I forgot. Let's just turn the head to look over the right shoulder. Keeping the chin level with the floor. Release through center and look over the left shoulder. And release to center. Let's take some shoulder circles first to the front. Nice big circles here. And then we'll circle to the back. Taking one more, leaving those shoulders back and down. Placing hands on knees and circling the torso around in the hips. Inhaling as we bring the chest to the front. Exhaling as we round the spine to the back. Moving with your breath at your pace. Excuse me. That was a sneeze, in case you were wondering. Gotten very good at holding them in. Let's take a couple more in this direction. And then we'll pause, circling around in the opposite direction again, inhaling to the front, exhaling to the back. Move with your breath. Let's take a couple more. And last one. Coming back to center, moving into a breathing twist, inhaling, reaching both arms up. Exhaling, gently twisting to one side, placing one hand in front and one behind, and inhale it back up. Exhaling, twisting to the other side, moving with your breath. Inhaling, reaching. Exhaling, twisting. You can look over your back shoulders, you twist. You can look to the side, whatever feels best for you and your neck today. Holding on one side for a few extra breaths. If you like, take your front hand to your opposite knee, pressing into the knee, go a little deeper into that twist. And releasing, inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, twisting to the other side. Again, front hand to opposite knee, press into the knee, go a little deeper here. And release, inhaling, arms up. Exhaling the hands to the heart. And just taking a couple moments here to reconnect with your breath, maybe to set an intention for your practice today, dedicating the efforts of your practice to someone or something. Remembering as always that this is your practice, so please modify or skip any poses that don't work for you today. Listening to your body, staying with your breath, and staying in the present moment. Making our way to all fours for some cat and cows. Oh, actually, before we do the cat and cows, we're going to do a little shoulder mobility exercise. So I normally don't tell you to lock out your elbows. I normally want you to keep them soft. However, it might make it a little easier to do this if your elbows are kind of locked a little bit. We won't be here for very long. So all we're going to do is we're going to drop the chest down so that our shoulder blades retract. And you can kind of see pretty well on my body. I'm just dropping my chest down. And then you're just gonna push up, push the mat away from me and kind of arch through the upper back. So this is only, the mobility is happening in your shoulders, so we're not involving the rest of the spine yet. It's the upper back and the shoulders only. So let's do a few of these. You might not have as much movement, especially if you have tight shoulders, maybe just a little bit of movement. I have pretty flexible shoulders, which is, I'm sure a large portion of that is genetic, so thank you, mother. But even if you don't have that flexibility, you can start to increase it. Let's do one more in each direction. And then come to a place in the middle, soften your elbows, and let's begin our cat and cows. Inhaling, dipping the belly down, looking up into cow. Exhaling, arching the spine, tucking the chin and the pelvis under into cat, moving with your breath. Just warming up the spine now a little bit more. Like I said, elbows can be softened now. Core is engaged, pelvic floor is lifted. Taking a few more in each direction. And let's take one more of each. Returning to our tabletop. Let's take the left arm out and up to the side, little twist here. And then we'll thread the needle, reaching that left arm between your right hand and knee, releasing the left side of the head down to the mat or a block. Right hand can stay by your face, or you can extend that arm, either reaching out towards the front of the mat, reaching that arm up toward the ceiling, or taking it behind the back, reaching for your left hip. So try the different arm positions for that right arm. See what your body needs today, not what's most comfortable. What does your body need? And put your arm in that position. And then we'll release the right hand back by the face, leaving the left arm where it is. Just pick the head up, take the right arm across for modified knot, releasing the forehead down to the mat, and then pressing the backs of the hands into the floor. Try to straighten the arms, opening up the shoulder blades. And then we'll release that, coming back to all fours. Right arm reaches out and up, twist. Threading the needle, reaching that arm between the left hand and knee, taking the right side of the head down. Your left hand can stay by your face, or again, you can extend the arm either out to the front, up toward the ceiling, or behind your back. And again, find what your body needs on this side. It might be different from the first side. And then we'll take that left hand back by the face, leaving the right arm where it is. Pick the head up, take the left arm across, bring the head down, and then press the backs of the hands into the floor. Activate this pose. And we'll release, coming back up to all fours. And then we'll sink the hips back to the heels for a child's pose. So you can come into a more active version of this pose with the arms out to the front. You could stack your hands or fists and rest the forehead on them, or bring your hands back by your feet with your palms facing up, keeping your knees together or separating them if you like. You can always rest in child's pose anytime you need to take a break during the practice today. If this is not a comfortable pose for you, finding another seated or lying down pose that is comfortable for you. is great. So we can stay folded here in our child's pose a little while longer, or if you're ready, making your way into a downward dog, planting the hands at the front of the mat, shoulder width apart, fingers spread wide. We'll come forward and tuck the toes, lifting the hips up and back, coming to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So if you like, you can pedal at your feet or shake your head out or make any other movements that feel right to you in this first downward dog. If any, you don't have to move this pose. You could be still if you choose. Eventually, we'll all find that place of stillness, tucking the chin, looking back between the legs, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. And then we'll look up to the hands and just walk the feet up to the hands. Coming into forward fold. Feet are hip width apart, and we'll soften our knees, grabbing opposite elbows, letting that upper body just hang. Taking the head up from side to side. Taking it front to back. Swaying a whole torso from side to side. And returning to center, releasing elbows, placing hands on shins or thighs, extending the spine, looking forward, taking a few deep breaths here. On your next exhale, fold, softening the knees, inhale, reverse swan dive, come all the way up. Exhaling the hands into the heart. And releasing the arms down into Tadasana, mountain pose. We'll take a nice step out to the side for our moonflowers and sunflowers. So toes turn out about 45 degrees. On your next inhale, reaching to the corners of the room. Exhaling, bending the knees and bringing the elbows into our sides. Inhaling, reaching it up and out. Exhaling as we bend. A couple more just like that. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bend. One more like that. And exhale, transition into sunflowers. Inhale, reach the arms all the way, palms touch. Exhale, bend the knees, circle the arms down and around as we fold, and inhale brings us back up. Exhaling as we fold. Couple more here, inhale. And exhale. Last one. Exhale down, inhale, come back up. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart, bend the knees, sink the hips, come into your prayer squat. Shoulders stack over the hips. Knees are in line with the toes. Breathing here. And releasing, inhaling it up, straightening the legs. Turning towards the front of your mat, stepping the back foot to the front, bringing the hands into the heart. And releasing the arms down into Tadasana, mountain pose. So instead of our sun salutation today, we are going to do the mandala flow. So that is a circular type of vinyasa. So at a certain point, you will be facing the back of your mat. So just try to listen to my cues in case you're not facing the screen at that point. If you don't want to do the mandala flow, by all means, choose your favorite sun salutation and move through that at your own pace. You are going to do the mandala flow with us today. We need to make our way into downward dog before we begin. So let's inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold with soft knees. Stepping the feet back one at a time. Coming into downward dog. Right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Exhale, step that foot up by the hands for a lunge. So we're going to keep the back knee lifted and just let the hips sink down towards the mat. And then we're going to walk the hands to the left side of the mat, turning both feet out. You can leave your hands on the mat, or you can hold on to your shins as you sink into this very low, wide squat. And then we'll walk our hands around to the back of the mat, sinking the hips. We're going to make sure that our feet are wide enough so that when we're in our lunge, the knee is stacked over the ankle. And then from here, you can step back to down dog and hang out there, or if you want, step back to plank and take a vinyasa, moving from plank through chaturanga, upward dog or cobra, and then back to downward dog. So now we're all in downward dog, facing the back of the mat. Right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Step that foot up by the hands. And come to your low lunge, or high lunge, sorry, sink the hips. Walking the hands around to the left side of the mat. Keeping your hands on the mat or grabbing the shins. Sink the hips. And then we'll walk the hands around to the front of the mat. Sinking into your lunge. And we'll step that left foot back, either into downward dog or to plank for a vinyasa. You can always modify the vinyasa by dropping your knees. And we'll meet up in downward dog when we're ready. Left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Stepping that foot up by the hands. Sinking the hips down into your lunge. Walking the hands to the right side of the mat. Turning both feet out. Leave your hands on the mat or grab the shins as you sink your hips down. And then we'll walk the hands around to the back side of the mat. Bending the knees, sink the hips. Low lunge. I keep wanting to call it a low lunge. It's a high lunge because the back knee is lifted. And then we'll step back to down dog, child's pose, or plank for a vinyasa. Left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Step that foot up by the hands. Come into your lunge. Sink the hips. Lift the heart. And we'll walk the hands to the right side of the mat, turning both feet out. Leave your hands on the mat or grab the shins as you sink the hips down. Walking the hands around to the front of the mat. Turning the feet. Coming into your lunge, facing the front. And then we'll step back to down dog, child's pose, or plank, or vinyasa. All right, we're going to change it up. Right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Stepping that foot up by the hands. Turning the left foot out 45 degrees, dropping the heel. We're going to come up for warrior one with eagle arms. So we're going to take the left arm under the right and wrap the forearms together. Bringing the hands right in front of the face. On your next inhale, let's lift the elbows, open the heart. On your exhale, turning to the left, open the arms, bend the knees, sink the hips into goddess. Turning towards the back of the mat. Warrior one, eagle arms. This time the right arm comes underneath the left. Wrapping those forearms together. Lifting the elbows, opening the heart. And releasing, unwrap the arms, bring the hands down to frame that left foot. Step that foot back into downward dog, child's pose, or plank, or vinyasa. Right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Stepping that foot up by the hands. Turn the left foot out. Warrior one, eagle arms, left arm under the right. So if you're a little left-right challenge, whatever leg is back is the arm that goes underneath. Inhale, lift the elbows, open the heart. Exhale, release, turn to the left. Open the arms, bend the knees, sink the hips, goddess. Turning towards the front of your mat. Warrior one, eagle arms, right arm under the left. Lifting the elbows, opening the heart. And releasing, unwrap the arms, bring the hands down. Step that left foot back to down dog, child's pose, or plank for your vinyasa. You need to take some open mouth exhales in your downward dog. Left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Stepping that foot up by the hands. Turning the right foot out, dropping the heel. Rise up, warrior one, eagle arms, right arm under the left. Inhale, lift the elbows, open the heart. Exhale, release, turn to the right, open the arms, bend the knees, sink the hips, goddess. Turning towards the back of the mat. Warrior one, eagle arms, left arm under the right. Lifting the elbows up, open the heart. And release, unwrap the arms, bring them down. Hands to the mat, right foot back, downward dog, child's pose, or plank for your vinyasa. And we are almost done. Left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Step that foot up by the hands. Turning the right foot out, dropping the heel. Rise up, warrior one, eagle arms, right arm under the left. Inhale, lift the elbows, open the heart. Exhale, release, turn to the right, open the arms, bend the knees, sink the hips, goddess. Turning towards the front of the mat. Warrior one, eagle arms, left arm under the right. Lifting the elbows, opening the heart. And releasing, unwrap the arms, bring the hands down, step back to down dog, child's pose, or plank for one more vinyasa. And then let's all drop into child's pose and rest there for a few breaths. Again, open mouth exhales if you need them. You want to grab a sip of water. So hopefully you are nice and warm. I know that I am. We'll make our way back into downward dog when we're ready. Let's step our left foot up by the hands. Turning the right foot out up to 90 degrees. We're going to come up for warrior two. So bring those arms up, reaching them out so they're parallel to the floor. Shoulders are stacked over our hips. Left knee is pointing straight over our left toes. Let's flip our palms to face the ceiling. Reach our shoulders up towards our ears. Press them back and down. And then flip the palms back over. So you should have felt the shoulders engage a little bit more, squeezing the shoulder blades together behind you. We're going to release the hands down in front of us, clasping our hands together, except for the index fingers that are going to point out. On your inhale, we're going to straighten the front leg and reach the arms straight up together. On the exhale, bending the knee back into warrior two as we circle the arms back down. So let's flow like that a few more times. Inhale, reach the arms up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, bend the knee and circle the arms down. Couple more like that. Inhale, reach and straighten. Exhale, bend and circle. Once more here, inhale. And exhale, holding in our warrior two. Turning the left palm up toward the ceiling, reaching for the front, and then bringing that arm up, reverse warrior. Right arm lightly rests on the right leg. You could also bring it behind your back, reaching for the left hip. Keeping the bend in the left knee. Releasing back through warrior two. Reaching it forward again, releasing the left arm to the thigh, right arm reaches up and over, side angle. Creating a nice straight line from our right heel to our right fingertips. Keeping the chest open to the side, so try not to collapse it down towards the mat. We're gonna do some arm circles with this right arm. So we're gonna reach forward, down, back, around, and up. Let's take 4 nice big circles to the front with this right arm. Moving at your own pace. Taking advantage of the full range of motion that we have available to us in that shoulder. Once you've completed 4 to the front, pause, and then we'll circle to the back. And then we'll come back to our side angle. Let's come back into warrior two, and then we'll straighten out the left leg, releasing the hands to the hips. Turning the left foot in so it is parallel to the right. You could be also slightly pigeon-toed if that feels better for your ankles tonight. On your inhale, lengthening the spine and looking up. Exhaling as we fold. Releasing the hands down to the mat. So we can widen our stance here. And then we're going to walk the hands off the side of the mat a little bit. We're going to come into a wide-legged downward dog. So making sure that your hands are really firmly planted onto the floor. Inhale, lengthen the spine a bit. Exhale, sink the head between the arms, looking back between the legs. Tucking the chin. And then let's release that, walking the hands back in. And then we'll walk them around to the front of the mat. Turning the feet. We'll step the right foot up to the front. Taking the left foot to the back. Turning that foot out up to 90 degrees, and we'll come up for warrior two on the other side. So we're going to make those little checks. I'm actually going to turn myself around on my mat so I don't have my back to you guys. There we go, that's better. Let's turn the palms up toward the ceiling. Reach the shoulders up towards the ears, take them back and down, and then flip those palms back over. Dropping the hands down in front of us, clasping them together, putting the index fingers. On your inhale, reach the arms straight up, straightening the front leg. Exhaling, bending that front knee and circling the arms back down. Let's flow again. Inhale, reach and straighten. Exhale, bend and circle. Couple more here. Last one. Holding here. Turning the right palm up toward the ceiling, reaching for the front, bring it up, reverse warrior. Left arm lightly rests on the left leg, or you can reach behind your back for your right hip. Releasing back through warrior two. Reaching it forward again, this time the right forearm comes to the thigh, left arm reaches up and over, side angle. We don't want to put a lot of weight on this elbow, so you can see I can pick it up and I'm not really changing the movement or the position that much. Let's do those arm circles with the left arm reaching to the front, down, back around and up, or to the front. One more to the front if you've lost count. Pausing at our start position, and then we'll circle to the back. Again, exploring the full range of motion that you have available to you today. One more here. Coming back to our starting position. Let's come back up into warrior two. Straightening out the right leg, releasing hands to hips, turning that right foot in so it is parallel with the left or slightly pigeon-toed. We'll do something a little different on this side, clasping our hands together behind the back, inhaling as we open the heart, lengthen the spine, exhaling as we fold. So you can widen your stance or bend your knees if you like. Once we're down as far as we can go, think about starting to move the hands away from the back at the same time, lifting your shoulders up away from your ears. A lot of times when we do this type of chest expansion, we kind of collapse the shoulders down into the neck. So you can see, if you're watching, that I can go a little further with my hands if I let my shoulders sink into my neck, but I'm going to press my shoulders up and away, creating more space. And then let's release the hands down, pressing the hands into the mat, lifting the head. Take a couple deep breaths here. And then we'll walk the hands to the front of the mat, stepping that front foot back to downward dog. And then from there, we'll drop the knees and come into a child's pose, any version that you like. We'll go ahead and sit up, taking the legs around to the front, coming into staff pose, Dandasana, extending the legs out long. You can move some of the flesh up from underneath your sit bones, or you can sit on a blanket if you have one. You may want to have a strap handy if you have one. Flexing the feet, inhaling, reaching arms up. Exhaling as we fold, hinging from the hips. So grabbing a hold of the feet, the ankles, the shins, or the thighs, or you can extend your reach by using a strap, looping it around the bottoms of the feet and pulling on the ends, keeping our spine fairly neutral here so you can see my back is pretty straight. I'm rounding a little through the low back, but not very much through the upper back. Using a sinking breath here. We'll release that fold. If you're using a strap, you can leave it wrapped around the bottom of your left foot and just take your right foot out, bending the right knee, and then letting that knee open out to the right side for Janu Shirshasana, maybe propping underneath that right knee with a blanket or a block, placing one hand on either side of the left leg, turning the chest to face the leg, inhale to lengthen the spine, exhale as we fold, reaching for your foot, strap, or anywhere along the leg, maybe using a cross grip with your hands, reaching for opposite sides of the foot or leg with your hands, crossing them at the wrists. And we'll release that fold, bringing the right knee up. We'll step that foot up and over to the outside of the left thigh. You can leave your left leg straight or bend it underneath you. Hugging the knee with the left arm, the right arm comes behind us for a twist. So you can stay hugging your knee. You may bring your elbow past your knee, or you can bind this pose if you want to, and that is in your practice today. We'll release that twist, extending the right leg out long, bending the left knee, letting that knee open out to the left side. Again, you can prop underneath the knee. You can set up a strap around the bottom of your right foot, placing one hand on either side of the right leg, turning the chest of his leg, inhale to lengthen, exhale to fold, reaching for your foot strap or anywhere along the leg, maybe taking that cross grip with your hands. And we'll release coming up, bringing the left knee up. We'll step that foot up and over. Right leg can stay straight, or you can bend it underneath you, hugging the knee with the right arm. The left arm comes behind us and we twist. And again, you can stay hugging your knee. You can bring your elbow past your knee, or you can bind the pose. And releasing the twist, uncrossing the legs, and we'll roll it all the way down onto the back. So you can hold on behind your knees or challenge your core a little bit by not holding on and trying to go down as slowly as you can, tucking the chin into the chest, going down one vertebrae at a time, resisting gravity. It will win in the end. And once it does, hug the knees into the chest, taking some rocks from side to side. Placing hands on kneecaps, circling them around first in one direction. And then in the opposite direction. Returning to center, hugging the right knee and releasing the left leg, giving that right knee a squeeze. Standing the right leg up toward the ceiling, pointing and flexing the foot a few times. And circling that foot around, first in one direction. And then in the opposite direction. Grabbing anywhere along the leg or using a strap, pulling that right leg in towards you for a hamstring stretch. Your right leg may be bent. You can straighten that leg out along the floor. Extending the right leg out towards the right side. Keeping your left side on the mat so you can place your hand on your hip to kind of hold it there. You can activate the muscles in that left leg to make that side of your body heavy. Taking that right leg up and across the body over to left, reaching the right arm out into a T, keeping your right shoulder on the mat, maybe also looking down your right arm. And releasing, bringing the right leg back up. Bending both knees, crossing the right ankle over the left thigh for a figure four stretch, reaching the right arm between the legs and pulling on the left leg so you can grab onto the back of your thigh or the front of your shin. And we'll try and line that left knee up with the left shoulder. Releasing the right leg, hugging the left knee in. Taking the left leg up, pointing and flexing the foot. And circling around, first in one direction, and then in the opposite direction. Grabbing anywhere along the leg or using a strap, pulling the left leg in, hamstring stretch. Your right leg may be bent or straight. Taking the left leg out towards the left side. Keeping your right side on the mat so you can hold it there with your hand and activate the muscles in that leg. And we'll take that left leg up and across the body over to the right, extending the left arm out into a T, keeping your left shoulder on the mat, maybe looking down your left arm. And we'll release, bringing the left leg back up. Bending both knees, crossing the left ankle over the right thigh, reaching the left arm through and pulling on the right leg, lining that right knee up with your right shoulder. And we'll release, hugging the knees into the chest. Extending arms out into a T. Either dropping both knees to your right, or if you want, cross your left leg over your right thigh first, and then take your knees to the right. Keeping both shoulders on the mat, maybe looking down your left arm. And we'll release and switch sides. If you cross the legs one way, cross them the other way, and we'll take your knees to the left. And release. Uncrossing the legs if they're crossed, hugging the knees into the chest, giving them a nice squeeze. And releasing it all down. So preparing for Shavasana, final relaxation. So if you'd like to put any layers on at this time, socks, sweatshirts, if you want to grab any props like a blanket or a block, eye pillow, whatever you have that you can use to make yourselves comfortable. Coming into any position that you choose for your meditation today. As always, I'm going to read the guided visualization. So give your brain something to focus on. Focus on your breathing. Notice your breath flowing in and out, slowly and rhythmically. As you focus on your breathing, close your eyes and continue to breathe slowly and deeply. Gradually relax deeper and deeper. You are relaxing, and as you breathe slowly, deeply, and naturally, feel the chatter of your mind become calm and quiet. Feel your mind become clear and spacious as the sky. Your thoughts are like puffy clouds, drifting in and out, in and out. Imagine a deep, wide, slowly moving river. Place yourself in the middle of the current, gazing up into the sky, the water holding you there motionless. Feel the current moving slowly past your ears, neck, chest, stomach, waist, legs, and feet, so that you become part of the swaying current. Hear the unique underwater sounds, the water gently rolling over the rocks, the sand rushing through the water, your legs swaying back and forth with the current. As the water continues to support your body, notice your tension releasing itself into the stream. Concentrate not on staying afloat or staying in place, but only on letting go of your body's tension and drifting with the current of the stream. Feel how light your body is at this time, how relaxed, how peaceful you feel. Know that the very fact that you've imagined your tension floating away with the stream's current makes it possible and real. Your tension has been released, and you feel light and relaxed. And start to wiggle fingers and toes, circling ankles and wrists. And reaching the arms up overhead, stretch and release. And either rolling to one side or hugging the knees into the chest, taking a few deep breaths before you make your way up to seated. Making your way into any comfortable seat you choose to finish your practice today. Sitting up nice and tall and dropping the chin to the chest. Taking the right ear towards the right shoulder. And left ear, left shoulder. Bring the head back up, taking the hands behind the head, looking all the way up. And release, taking 3 deep breaths, inhaling arms up. And exhaling them down. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. Once more, inhaling it up. Bringing the hands together at heart center as we exhale. The light in me honors the light in me. Namaste.